We are Hatton Home. Hatton Home was born in December 2020. Our first office in a market town called Wokenham in Berkshire. Soon afterwards, 9 months after our first office, we launched in Crowthorne, which is the adjacent village. We are an estate agency who covers sales, lettings, and also runs a private search division. A lot of people thought we were pretty brave to do so, but we were very fortunate as an industry that we were allowed to operate. So we, of course, had to make the concessions and make sure that we were operating safely. But apart from not being able to have a launch party to launch a business and obviously not being able to have people in the office, we were able to operate, which was challenging, but the market was on our side as well. Definitely, you know, as an estate agency, we're all about customers, we're all about people, we're all about communication. So to have that, the style and the type of communication limited was really challenging, but everybody was in the same boat, and we all clubbed together and made sure that we got the right result for our clients. The CRM that we use it's the engine room for any estate agency. It's absolutely vital to the running of our business, and the platform we were using just wasn't suitable for our needs. It was making our job harder, not easier. It was making my team's day-to-day life a bit more difficult than it needs to be. So we wanted to make sure that we had a platform that we could use that did exactly that. It was a customer relationship management tool. It helped us win business. And we decided that Reapit was the best platform for that. I was anxious about it to begin with because everybody talks about how difficult it is to migrate data. Everybody talks about how difficult it is to change a CRM. It was actually a dream. It was a fantastic experience from the initial conversations that we had with the project team to being assigned a project manager, our weekly catch-up calls, a clear and defined project strategy throughout, and people getting on with what they should have been doing when they should have been doing it. It was fabulous. We chose to actually, instead of migrate data through the two platforms, we chose to do it ourselves because we wanted to make sure that we had quality data, and I think we had found ourselves in a situation where perhaps on our old CRM, we had an abundance of data that wasn't what we wanted in terms of quality, wasn't what we wanted in terms of specification. So we decided not to bring that forward to Reapit, and actually that's worked really well because as an exercise, it's enabled us to look at the data we have, work out what was good, what was important to us. We found holes in it, which was useful because it meant that we could change our processes, and we've ended up with a much cleaner data set because of it. But in terms of the process we went through, it was absolutely fantastic. We went from start to finish in 6 weeks. It was a dream. As an agency, we essentially do two things. We bring properties to market to sell or let, and then we contact people to sell or rent those properties too. So our CRM needed to do those two things, which was give us a competitive edge to bring properties to market, to find people that were looking to sell or let. And once we were given the mandate to sell or let those properties, make it as easy as possible for us to find the best person to contact to get them through the door. And unfortunately, it wasn't like that with our previous system, and it definitely is like that with Reapit. It gives us the ability to use the tools that are already within the software to go out and easily identify our next prospect, easily identify who might be our next customer. And once we've found them, do the best job we can by them by going and finding the best possible person to rent their property or the best possible person to buy their property at the best price. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when I started an agency, I'll talk back to the good old nostalgic days of having a box of applicant cards on your desk that were your vendors and your buyers, and you would literally mine that data. You would call them all the time. Nothing's changed with that. It's just that software gives us the ability to organise that data better, access it easier, be more specific with how we're looking at that data. So it's much easier to bring up a shorter list of people that are very specific to a task that you're trying to complete that day. So yes, I don't think anything's actually changed with how we operate. It's just made it easier to do our job well. saves us time, saves us money. It makes my job easier, my team's job easier. I mean, it's very specific. So if we've just sold a property in Acacia Avenue, for want of a better address that everybody in the estate agency seems to use, if we've just sold a property in Acacia Avenue and we want to tell everybody that we've been to value their property within a mile of that address, what we've just done and the price we've just achieved and the fact we've got other buyers for them, it's very easy to do that through Reapit, which means that within 2 minutes through a power report, we can bring up a list of 50 addresses that we need to talk to that day. That's not easy to do through other platforms, so that saves us time and it's much more likely to get us a better result. One particular part of reporting, organising data, managing your data that Reapit do really well, and that's through the power report functions. It enables you to narrow down a list of 250 potential people to talk to into a very easy, concise list of 30 people, which makes it a task that will happen that day rather than something that might get 10% of it done. So for instance, you might have registered 300 buyers this month, and you can quite easily run a power report that tells you of those 300 buyers, which ones are not on the market yet. And of those ones that are not on the market yet, which ones have a postcode in your area. And of those ones that are not on the market yet and have a postcode in your area, which ones have been to view with you, so they've had experience with you. And it's taking that list down of something that's unmanageable to something that's very concise and much more likely to get you a result. So we talked before about making sure the return on investment's there. I think it's the return on your time as well is really important. So power reporting is something that I think is absolutely phenomenal in the platform. I think it's in its infancy still, and I think that the idea of us being able to apply multiple applications through one software platform is going to grow over the coming years. I think something that's really key when we're talking about Proptech and different applications and different systems to use is being very defined in what you want it to do for your business. There's a plethora of options out there for us to use, whether it be SMS, whether it be electronic direct mail applications, whether it be address finding, whether it be prospecting, and they come at you from every angle, but unless you really define what you're trying to achieve for your business, they'll never work for you. So I think what we've never had up until recently is this ability to integrate all these through one platform, and that's becoming easier and easier, which is fantastic. There is going to be an engagement piece about how we engage at the first touch point with our customers. We are very poor as an industry at adopting new technologies, and we're very good as an industry of not changing. So you tend to find that people make inquiries through Rightmove at 10 o'clock at night, and yet the first thing that most estate agents will do is try and telephone them at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're using a different medium at a different time to try and engage with people. And I think what we'll find is the quicker we can engage with people at point of inquiry, whether that's a potential landlord, a potential seller, potential tenant or potential buyer, if we can engage with them better and more efficiently and more effectively at point of inquiry, I think we're much more likely to be able to take that relationship forward. And I don't think that relationship can then be driven by technology. I think that relationship has to be driven by an understanding of their needs and a conversation and a demonstration that you've understood their requirements. But where we're missing it as a moment as an industry is having that engagement piece really nailed down, and I think that's what's going to change over the next few years. I think we need to make it as easy as possible as we can for our customers to engage with us, and I think we need to make it as easy as possible as we can for our teams to go out and do their job well, and that's, to me, what the function of the CRM is. In terms of what technology can do to make our operations more efficient, just by having more information at our fingertips, easier reporting abilities, it enables us to make business decisions because we can see what's happening with data. We can see who's inquiring with us, we can see who's making requests for valuations, at what time they're making the requests, how that conversion route, so that journey of conversion takes place, and that enables us to make business decisions about where we spend money and where we're more likely to get a return on investment. So absolutely, the technology behind it definitely enables us to make business decisions, but I'm a huge fan of making sure that it is customer-centric and that we're giving our customers the best possible experience they can of moving home.